Have you ever felt a strange weight in your legs? A heaviness that no doctor could explain? It arrives suddenly, without warning, as if invisible chains were tied to your steps. And yet, deep inside, you know it is not simply exhaustion, not poor circulation, not the kind of fatigue that fades with rest. No. This weight is different. It carries a message. It is a spiritual sign, a secret code written into the very body of those who are not ordinary. The chosen ones do not walk through life like everyone else. Each step they take is heavy with purpose, charged with destiny, echoing with battles seen and unseen. That weight is not there to crush you. It is there to remind you, your path is not common. Your journey is sacred. And if you stay with me until the very end, you will discover that what feels like a burden is, in truth, undeniable proof that you have been set apart for something far greater than you ever imagined. This revelation will not just answer questions you've carried for years, it will shift how you see yourself, your body, and the path ahead. So before we continue, pause for a moment. If you feel this message stirring inside your spirit, like a whisper you've been waiting to hear, I want you to give this video a like right now, subscribe if you haven't yet, and comment the number 99 below. Why 99? Because in the language of the Spirit, 99 is the sign of completion, the reminder that even when the world sees you as unfinished, heaven already knows you are prepared for the mission ahead. And now, let's begin. There are moments in life when the body speaks louder than the mind, and for the chosen ones, this truth becomes impossible to ignore. That heaviness in your legs is not random, not a coincidence, not a meaningless discomfort. It arrives like a coded message, showing up at precise moments as if the universe itself were timing its delivery. You may notice it right before a major decision, when your life stands at the edge of change, when one choice could alter the course of everything. You may feel it in seasons of transformation, when your old self is dissolving, and the new self is still being formed. And sometimes, it comes in the silence, in the quiet hours when unseen forces are watching, when energies beyond your perception are taking notice of your steps. That weight is never misplaced. It is deliberate. It is a signal. Ordinary people do not experience this. They walk freely, as if the earth beneath them carries no responsibility. Their steps are light because they have no mission pressing down on them. But you are different. Your steps are not free of meaning. Every movement, every pace forward, carries the density of spiritual energy. That is why it feels heavier than flesh and bone. Because it is not just the body carrying itself, it is destiny moving through you. The universe is anchoring you to your mission, reminding you with every weighted step that you cannot wander aimlessly. You are not ordinary. You are marked. Think of it. Why would your legs, of all parts of the body, carry this signal? Because your legs symbolize the path. They are the carriers of destiny, the pillars that hold you upright as you move through this world. They are the first to feel the impact of resistance and the first to reveal the truth when your soul is shifting. This heaviness is not a punishment, it is alignment. It is as though the invisible world presses its seal upon your journey, letting you know you are walking a road no one else can walk for you. There is a reason the weight does not arrive in moments of distraction, but in moments of significance. Have you ever felt it right before you spoke a truth you had been hiding? Before you walked into a room that would change your future? Before you cut ties with someone who could not follow you into your next chapter? That is not the body failing you. It is the body warning you. It is heaven whispering, pay attention. The next step matters. And perhaps the most unsettling truth of all is that sometimes this weight comes not when you are moving, but when you are still. It arrives when you least expect it, sitting quietly, doing nothing, and suddenly your legs feel anchored to the ground, as if the earth itself is holding you in place. Why? Because even in stillness, the chosen ones are never idle. Even in silence, your life emits energy that shakes the unseen world. That weight is evidence of recognition. Forces beyond what you can see are acknowledging your presence. This is why many dismiss it, calling it fatigue, overwork, or circulation. But you know better. Deep in your spirit, you sense that this is not ordinary. The heaviness is intelligent. It comes at moments that demand awareness. It lingers when the atmosphere is shifting. It presses down when the unseen is at work around you. And every time you feel it, something inside of you knows. This is not random. This is a signal. Chosen one, the weight in your legs is not meant to weaken you. It is meant to awaken you. It is not a chain of oppression, but a bell of recognition. You are being reminded that your life cannot be lived lightly, because you are carrying something the world does not yet see. That heaviness is heaven's fingerprint stamped upon your body, declaring silently but powerfully, you are not ordinary.
You are marked, and here is the mystery you cannot ignore. If your body is already signaling this truth, if your very steps are being altered by invisible forces, then what greater revelations are waiting ahead? If this is only the beginning of the signal, what happens when the full message unfolds? The weight in your legs is not just discomfort. It is not simply an ache or fatigue.
It is the quiet beginning of something far greater. An awakening that does not announce itself with trumpets, but arrives in silence, in mystery, almost invisible to everyone else around you. For the chosen ones, the body often knows before the mind. The spirit begins to move long before the intellect can grasp what is happening. And so, while others dismiss it as stress, as exhaustion, as nothing serious, you feel something deeper pulsing in every step. That heaviness is the first echo of your soul saying, "Wake up, your time has come." This is why doctors cannot find it. They run their tests, they check your vitals, they tell you everything is fine. Yet you walk away knowing something is not fine. You feel it. And this is the difference. Your body is not broken. Your body is speaking. The body becomes the messenger of the soul, carrying whispers that the logical mind cannot translate. Every pulse of weight, every heaviness that anchors your legs to the ground, is a coded reminder that your steps are not casual, your journey is not random. This is not illness. This is preparation. For the chosen ones, awakening does not begin with fireworks. It begins with subtle shifts that others overlook. The strange dreams that feel more like memories than fantasies. The chills that run down your body when no one is touching you. The sense that you are being watched, guided, studied by forces unseen. And then, always, the weight in your legs. Why there? Because your legs symbolize the path. They carry you forward. They determine where you go. And so it is there that the signal first appears. Your body is announcing, the road you are walking is sacred. Pay attention. At first, the silent awakening feels confusing. You question yourself. You wonder if you are imagining things, if perhaps you are just tired. But the timing betrays the truth. Notice when the weight appears, right before a decision that will change your life, right before you step into a place that holds new energy, right before you dare to break a cycle that has kept you trapped. The body senses what the mind cannot yet process. It carries the vibration of what is coming, and it warns you, get ready. And here lies the mystery. The silent awakening is not just about what happens to you. It is about what begins to fall away. Suddenly, you no longer feel comfortable in places you once enjoyed. The conversations that once entertained you now feel empty. People you thought would walk with you begin to drift away. Doors close without reason. And through it all, your body speaks with that unshakable heaviness. It is telling you that you are no longer the same. The path beneath your feet has shifted. You are crossing from who you were into who you were meant to be. Many cannot endure this stage because awakening does not come with explanations. It comes with silence. It comes with confusion. It comes with loneliness. And yet, if you dare to listen, not with your ears, but with your spirit, you will realize the silence itself is sacred. It is in that silence that the chosen ones are reborn. The heaviness becomes the weight of transformation pressing against the old self, demanding it to break, to release, to surrender. Imagine a seed buried underground. To the outside world, nothing is happening. The soil looks undisturbed, but beneath the surface, a silent revolution is taking place. The shell is breaking. The roots are reaching. The seed is dying to itself so that life can emerge. That is what the silent awakening is. From the outside, you look the same. But inside, everything is shifting. Your legs carry the weight because your spirit is breaking out of its shell. And this awakening is urgent, because once it begins, there is no turning back. You cannot unknow what you have begun to feel. You cannot return to sleep once the soul has stirred. And that weight in your legs, though it frustrates, though it tires you, is proof that the process is real. You are not imagining it. You are not inventing it. The preparation is underway. So the next time you feel the heaviness, remember, it is not an obstacle. It is a doorway. It is not here to stop you. It is here to remind you that you are stepping into sacred ground. The awakening may be silent, but its effects are unstoppable. And here is the truth you must hold on to. The stronger the weight, the greater the destiny it is preparing you for. But this is only the beginning. Because once you understand that the weight is not illness but initiation, you will start to see what lies beneath it. And what waits in the shadows of this awakening will shake everything you thought you knew about the forces around you. There comes a moment when the heaviness in your legs intensifies beyond explanation. It no longer feels like a passing weight. It feels like resistance, as though something unseen is pressing against every step you take. And here lies the truth that most will never understand. Every time the weight grows heavier, it is because you are moving closer to destiny. The closer you step toward the path that was written for you, the more the invisible world reacts. Light pulls you forward, but shadows rush to chain you down. This battle is not metaphorical. It is real, tangible, and alive in your very body. The heaviness is not random fatigue. It is the echo of war. On one side, the divine is urging you to rise, to advance, to fulfill what you were created for. On the other side, forces of darkness fear what you carry. They know that one step from you can shift the balance, unlock blessings, break curses, and change not only your life, but the lives of those connected to you. So they fight. They resist. They press down. That weight in your legs is not weakness. It is proof that your life has become a battlefield. Think about it. If you were irrelevant, if your future held no threat to the shadows, you would walk lightly. Your steps would be free, careless, unnoticed. But because you are chosen, every movement sends ripples through the unseen. Every stride you take toward your mission is a declaration of war against darkness itself. And the resistance you feel is the enemy's desperate attempt to hold you where you are. This is why the weight comes at the most inconvenient moments. Right when you are about to make a breakthrough. Right when you decide to cut ties with what drains you. Right when you step into the unknown with courage. The heaviness surges like an invisible wall. But here is the secret. The presence of that wall is proof that there is something powerful waiting on the other side. The enemy only guards doors that lead to treasure. The battle is subtle, but relentless. You may notice it when you try to pray, and suddenly your body feels drained. When you attempt to start a project that aligns with your calling, and suddenly your legs feel heavy, as if they don't want to move. When you dare to speak truth into darkness, and suddenly you feel weighed down, slowed, almost paralyzed. This is not coincidence. It is confrontation. Darkness cannot destroy you, so it tries to delay you. It cannot erase your mission, so it tries to make each step unbearable. And yet, here lies the paradox. The very resistance you feel is also the very evidence that you are unstoppable. If shadows had the power to eliminate you, they would not bother with weight. They would have silenced you already. The heaviness is not proof of their strength. It is proof of their weakness. They cannot stop your destiny, so they settle for chains that make the journey harder, hoping you will give up before reaching the finish line. But chosen one, this is where the revelation turns. That weight, that resistance, can become your training ground. Each heavy step you take is a strike against the forces that want you still. Each decision to keep moving, even when your body feels like stone, is a victory that shakes the spiritual world. The heaviness does not mean you are losing, it means you are advancing. The battle intensifies not because you are off course, but because you are on the exact course the darkness fears. Let that sink in. If your steps were meaningless, the shadows would not react. But because you carry light, because you walk with purpose, because your very presence threatens what hides in the dark, your journey will never be uncontested. You are a moving flame in a world that prefers darkness, and flames always attract the wind. The heavier your legs feel, the clearer the message. You are getting closer. Do not stop now, so the next time the weight increases, do not despair. Recognize it for what it is, resistance from forces terrified of what happens when you break through. Feel it, yes. Acknowledge it, but do not surrender to it. Every step you force forward under that invisible pressure is proof that you are not just surviving the battle, you are winning it. And here is where it becomes undeniable. The heavier the weight, the greater the impact of your next step. So if right now your legs feel heavier than ever, if every move feels chained, it is because destiny is closer than you think. The shadows are afraid of what you are about to step into. But what happens when the anchor meant to hold you down becomes the very force that grounds you, connects you, and turns into strength you never thought you had? That secret is about to unfold. Your legs are not just muscles and bones. They are far more than the physical tools that carry you from one place to another. They are roots, ancient extensions of your spirit reaching into the soil of existence itself. And this is why the weight you feel is not meaningless. It is not a random burden placed upon you. That heaviness is a spiritual anchor, tying you firmly to the earth, holding you in this exact moment, this exact season, this exact mission. Without it, you would drift, you would wander, you might even be pulled away by distractions or illusions. But with it, you are grounded, unshakable, immovable when storms rise. The chosen ones are never allowed to float through life as if their presence here were accidental. You were planted here deliberately, with precision, and your legs, heavy as they feel, are the proof of that planting. Each step you take presses deeper into the unseen soil of destiny, like roots gripping the earth. That grip may feel like resistance, but it is also stability. It is how heaven ensures you remain anchored while your spirit carries power that could easily lift you too far, too fast. Have you noticed how the heaviness feels different depending on where you are? In crowded spaces where energy is dense and chaotic, the weight intensifies, as if your body is absorbing and resisting what is around you. In sacred spaces, or when you touch the ground barefoot in nature, the weight sometimes eases, almost as though the earth itself were whispering back to you, "I recognize you. You belong here. Rest for a moment, but stay strong." This is not imagination, it is communication. The earth itself responds to the presence of those who are chosen. Because here is the mystery. You do not simply walk on the ground, you walk with the ground. Every step you take is not just movement, it is alignment. You are carrying energies from heaven, but they must be anchored somewhere, and that somewhere is here, in your body, in your legs, in your connection to this planet. You are the bridge between two worlds, and bridges must be held down firmly to remain standing. That weight is proof that you are holding energies few can even perceive, energies too strong to be carried lightly. This is why you sometimes feel pulled in two directions. A part of you longs to rise, to ascend, to escape the heaviness, as if your spirit could soar away and never return. But another part of you feels tied down, chained, connected so deeply that you cannot run even if you tried. That tension is not failure, it is balance. You are not here only to ascend. You are here to descend with light, to bring heaven into the soil of earth, to channel the divine into a world that has forgotten it. Without the anchor, you would be lost in realms unseen. Without the connection to heaven, you would collapse under the weight of the earth. But with both, you become a living bridge. And perhaps this is why your journey feels so heavy compared to others. Ordinary people do not carry this duality. They belong only to the earth, and so they walk lightly, unaware of anything beyond the surface. But you, chosen one, carry a mission that requires you to touch both heaven and earth at once. That is why your legs feel the burden. They are grounding you in the physical, so your spirit can move in the eternal. You are not trapped, you are anchored. Anchored so that when you rise with purpose. Anchored so that when you carry heaven's light, it reaches the ground and does not vanish into thin air. There is a sacred reason the anchor is heavy. The greater your calling, the stronger your connection must be. Imagine trying to channel lightning through a fragile wire. It would burn instantly. The wire must be thick, grounded, prepared to handle the power flowing through it. You are the same. The weight in your legs is the reinforcement, the thickening of your roots, the grounding required, so that when divine power flows through you, it does not destroy you, but instead radiates through you to others. And here is the revelation. When you begin to see the weight not as punishment, but as preparation, everything shifts. That heaviness becomes holy. It becomes the silent assurance that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you were born to do. It is the universe's way of saying, stay, do not drift, do not abandon your mission. You are the bridge, and bridges do not run away, they hold steady. But if your legs are roots, and if your body is the anchor, what happens when the burden that once held you down transforms into the very fuel that propels you forward? What happens when the anchor becomes wings? That truth is waiting just beyond this moment. At first, the heaviness feels unfair. It feels like a punishment no one else is carrying, as if you were chosen not for glory, but for suffering. Every step feels chained, every movement slowed, every attempt to rise resisted by something you cannot see. And for a while, the weight feels cruel. You look at others who walk freely and you wonder, why me? Why must my journey be so heavy when theirs looks so light? But this is where the revelation begins. For the chosen ones, what starts as burden is never meant to stay burden. It is meant to transform. The heaviness you feel is not a curse, it is training. It is the unseen gymnasium of the soul, where endurance is forged, faith is sharpened, and strength is molded in silence. Every difficult step you take under that weight is building something inside of you that cannot be built any other way. Resistance creates power. Just as muscles only grow when pushed against pressure, the spirit only grows when tested by unseen force. The chains you feel pressing down are not there to keep you small. They are there to make you strong. And the moment you stop fighting the weight, the moment you stop seeing it as your enemy, a profound shift takes place. You unlock a power that has been waiting inside you all along. Because here is the mystery. What once felt like chains becomes fuel. The same heaviness that once slowed you begins to reveal direction. You start to notice patterns. The weight comes strongest when you are closest to breakthroughs, when the next chapter of your life is about to unfold. Suddenly you realize the burden is not random. It is strategic. It is a compass. The heaviness is not trying to stop you. It is pointing you. It is highlighting the very path you are meant to take, showing you where the doors of destiny are about to open. And when this revelation hits, something inside of you ignites. You stop asking why and you start asking what for. You stop resenting the heaviness and you start using it. Every time it presses down, instead of collapsing, you lean into it. You let it mold your character, your discipline, your resilience. And before you know it, The weight that once exhausted you becomes the very reason you can walk further, climb higher, and endure longer than anyone else. The burden has turned into strength. This transformation is not poetic exaggeration. It is real. Chosen ones throughout history have always carried invisible weights. Their lives looked harder, their steps slower, their journeys more painful. But those weights made them unbreakable. Those burdens carved wisdom into their hearts, clarity into their minds, and unshakable courage into their spirits. And now it is your turn. The heaviness in your legs, the weight that no doctor can explain, is proof that you are undergoing the same transformation. Your destiny requires a vessel strong enough to carry it. That is why you are being pressed. That is why you are being refined. The fire of resistance is burning away weakness, and in its place, power is rising. And here is the greatest secret. The moment you embrace the weight, it changes shape. It stops being a chain and becomes a guide. What once felt like suffering becomes clarity. The heaviness becomes your compass. Every time you feel it, you know you are standing on sacred ground. Every time it presses harder, you know a doorway of destiny is near. What once was burden now whispers direction. This way. Keep going. You are close. But there is something even greater waiting beyond this shift. If the weight can turn into clarity, if the burden can transform into power, then what happens when you learn not only to endure it but to channel it? What happens when you use that invisible pressure as fuel to accelerate instead of slow down? That revelation is where destiny fully unfolds. Chosen one, hear these words and let them sink deep into your spirit. That weight in your legs has never been your enemy. It has never been a punishment. It has always been the silent proof that you are different, set apart, marked by heaven for something this world cannot even comprehend. Others may laugh, others may dismiss it, but they do not walk your path. They do not feel what you feel. They do not carry what you carry. You don't walk for them, you walk for destiny. Every step you take beneath that invisible burden is a declaration. It is evidence that your life was designed to carry light in a world drowning in shadows. That weight is not weakness. It is your crown. It is not a curse. It is your confirmation. The heaviness you feel is the universe itself whispering, "You are chosen. You are needed. You are unstoppable. You are not weak. You are being strengthened. You are not cursed. You are being prepared." So the next time your legs tremble under the heaviness, do not despise it. Do not fear it. Remember what it truly is. Not pain, but purpose. Not chains, but calling. Not burden, but destiny. And if right now, as you hear these words, you feel something ignite inside your chest, if you know beyond doubt that this message was meant for